So you want to get into the modeling industry. Are those red flags? Maybe we should learn the red flags to look out for before we dive deep into the modeling industry and find ourselves in a compromised situation. Let's talk about the top 10 red flags to look for if you are just getting into modeling, or maybe you've been in modeling and you're trying to do a little bit more with your career. This is important to you. You should want to know this because if you can catch it early, you can avoid the stress of a chaotic situation. You can avoid losing money. You can avoid losing your literally your online identity, your socials and social platforms and emails and all of the things you could possibly think of for any type of scam. You want to know how to avoid it. Best way to avoid it is to avoid it. It's to spot it quickly, to know what you're looking out for, and be able to say, I need to proceed with caution. If this is something that I still want to vibe this out, it might just come off a little weird, but I need to get a little bit more information. You want your radar on high alert. And this is what we're going to cover in this video. Now, if you are already in the school community, come join our school. It's at school.com/pose to profit. That's school with a K. And in there, we cover all sorts of things in the modeling industry, from how to get started if you're completely new, how to grow and blow up a little bit more, break that ceiling if you've been doing it for a while, all kinds of tips and tricks that you're going to want to know whether you've been doing this for a while or you're brand new. If the pace of which I am speaking is totally easy for you to consume, let's be efficient. Bump that rate up to 1.5 speed or 2x the speed on this video so you can get through it quickly and you can make sure that you are being most efficient. However, this is really important stuff, so make sure that if you are playing it faster and you miss one thing or another, just go back, play it real quick. This is really important. It could genuinely save your life. All right, number one. Upfront fees. Hi, I am with so-and-so agency, and we would love to sign you. It would start out at $800 to get you started, and that's going to get your portfolio together. That's also the signing bonus for the photographer we're going to tell you you have to shoot with to get your first images started so that we can get you onto our modeling website for the whole world to see and start booking you. You're going to be so famous. Red Flag City. Here's the first one. No agency, no legitimate agency is going to charge an upfront fee to get started. They're not going to say, hey, you need to pay this amount, that amount, whatever for this fee or that fee to get started. Here's the deal. Some agencies, they have a kind of like a site or a portfolio fee of some sort, whether it's a physical portfolio, how it really was back in the day, and now it's more of like an online, like saving your space on the website, right? That's normal. However, they will typically deduct that from your first job, your first booking. A legitimate agency earns their money as a commission off of the work that they book for you. So if they're trying to say, yeah, you can get started with us, you just have to pay this amount to get started, whether they say it's the startup fee, portfolio fee, the website fee, the first of all, build your comp card fee, the marketing fee, whatever they name it, there should be no upfront cost for you to start working with an agency. You should be able to sign with them, get a nice, strong, healthy contract, which is on the list as well here, that you can understand, you can read and go, oh, okay, I can make sense of this. And then they might even say, yeah, there is an annual fee for your listing on this, or what, maybe they use a software that they kind of charge for a little bit here or there. That's fine if they take it out of your earnings, not an upfront fee. Your first job, boom, it covers it for the year for you. We just deduct it out of there. You'll see it on the line items in your pay, and you're good to go. No upfront fees for legitimate agencies. Number two, I guarantee you're going to be famous. We are going to take you all the way to the top. Oh, we can't wait. You're a perfect fit. When they start hyping you up and making promises of what level of success that they're going to be able to get you, that's a red flag. When they tell you you are going to be someone we would look forward to working with and we can't wait to work with you and things like that, and expressing genuine excitement, that's great. But when they start promising, oh, we're going to get you on the magazine cover of this and that, it's not a thing, not a legitimate thing, not at all out there. Could you still go and get those things and do those things and achieve them? Yes, but no legitimate agency is going to promise you those things, especially not upfront. Number three, high pressure sales tactics. If you are being pressured at any point to sign the contract, even at like a legitimate agency might say, "Hey, here's the contract, look it over and we would love to sign you." A red flag is if they are saying, and this has happened to people where they go into an agency for a go see, a meet and greet sort of thing, and the agency's, "Oh, we want to sign you, sign right now. You have to sign today and you have to do it before you leave the office because this contract, if you walk out that door, sorry, but the contract is void." That's bull. That is a big red flag. No high pressure sales tactics. A good agency is, they're going to want to encourage you to be thorough in your decision, because a good healthy relationship between model and agent, or model and agency, is one where they're both excited to work with each other and help each other out. And a high pressure situation like that is not what you want. Now, side note to this, my preference in agents, what one thing that I look for in my agents, and I have a few of them, I have some very, very specific things that I look for in my agents. One of those things is I want them to be that high pressure salesperson with their skill set, with their ability to sell, but not to me, to the clients, to the people they're trying to book me on jobs with. So that way, if I have a shark out there and the client, the shoot or whatever, they're trying to finesse me, they're trying to get one over on me one way or another, either in pay or in the contract, the usage, the terms, I want my agent to be someone that is like a dog out there, not someone that's just going to be like, "Oh, okay, we'll have him sign it, that's okay." No, I there've been so many times my agent, I've called up and said, I've looked at a contract and I say, "Hey, this looks questionable, I don't like this, can you look it over, let me know what you think?" Agent's like, "Do not sign it." Like, that's what I want. And then they get on the horn with the producer or whoever, like, "Hey, you need to change this in the contract, blah, 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 blah." That's what I want. But you don't want that from an agency. That's not how it should be. You should be a good collaborative team. No high pressure sales situation for you. Number 4, a lack of a professional contract. If you go to sign with an agency, or this goes across the board, not just an agency, this also goes for when, if you have a direct outreach on social media, somebody says, "Hey, we have this thing we want you to model for and we'd love to work with you." If there's no like professional contract that's pretty simple and understandable, where you read it and it's not crazy legal jargon, but you just go, "Oh, okay, yeah, usage, length, terms, blah blah blah," that's a red flag. Your agency, if you're going to sign with an agency, they should have a professional contract that you can understand and it is comprehensive and you're able to go, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is pretty clear and I get it," right? A 2-year agreement, 3-year agreement, whatever the length of your contract is with the agency, it should be very clear and very professional for you. So look out for things that it's like a very lackadaisical, non-professional contract, right? That should be a red flag as well. Number 5, vague or non-existent agency details. If you show up to an agency for some reason, or you get in contact with somebody just meets you out when you're at dinner and they're like, "Hey, you should model, here's my card," and you go to look them up and you can't find anything on them, or maybe you find something online but you don't really see much, not many reviews or anything on their website that's a lot of information, it's vague, red flag. Any agency, put yourself in the agency's shoes for a second. If you own an agency and you want to book, you get paid based off of the work you book for your talent, for your models. If that's how you get paid, a percentage of those jobs, wouldn't you want to put your best foot forward and market yourself and be present and be relevant and be seen across the world over and let people see the wonderful work that you as an agency do for your talent? Wouldn't you want that? Then what sense does it make for somebody to not have great info out there that's going out and about if they are a legitimate agency? The answer, it doesn't make any sense. It's a red flag. If you see that, just very, very, very cautiously proceed, or completely just throw it to the wayside, right? Do a little bit more digging. Why don't you have any information? Question, but also be wary that those type of people, the snake salesmen, snake oil salesmen, the charmers, and the charlatans, even if you try to ask further, they're going to have a list of answers and, kind of BS you along the way. So vague agency details, that's also a red flag. Number 6, unsolicited offers via social media. In one of the other videos in our school, I shared a bit about, this is in a negotiation video, how to negotiate your rates and raise your rates. And part of that was focused on direct outreach, including when people reach out to you directly in social media. That's the era we're in. That's actually a really good way for a lot of places and people and everything to get the ball rolling faster. to find the people that they want to fit their ad. That's great. If they reach out to you and it's unsolicited, that is not like, oh man, absolutely avoid it. This could be a very good and a legitimate shoot, but you want to proceed with caution. This is a red flag that I would say, maybe like a yellow flag. Let's call it a yellow to red flag. Proceed with caution. Make sure you get all the details, which I covered in that video as well, the negotiating your rates video. Get all of the details of the shoot and all that stuff in writing. Excuse me, in writing so that you can see it, the text or whatever, that works great in the DMs and all that stuff. You want that in writing to see what the details are. If you're getting unsolicited outreach on social media, just proceed with caution and make sure you get all of the details that you possibly can on that, because scammers will reach out directly to you and, hey, we have this thing, just send us this, send us nudes, send us something in just your underwear, your bed, whatever it is. They are so creative in how they scam people and take advantage of people. If you get reached out like that, vet it out. Who are you with? What's the client? What production are you with? What production company are you with? Things like that, and look it up on your own outside of that, right? So proceed with caution. Red flag, but yellow flag. Red flag because scammers do that. Yellow flag because sometimes legitimate places, people, clients, and things like that, they will do that. So just proceed with caution. Just let it be an alarm. That's what this is about. Knowing what to look out for. It's situational awareness in the digital world, right? You're walking down the street and you see somebody that looks a little shady. Your gut is telling you something's a little off. This guy's scoping cars out, windows, seems to be, holding a weapon, following some too closely. All these things in the physical world we can understand and appreciate and know what it looks like. This is to protect yourself in the online world, the digital world, where you then take it to the physical world, right? We want to catch these things early so you don't end up in a random remote place surrounded by a lot of people that can overpower you physically, take advantage of you financially, and all the list goes on. So it's about your awareness here. Number 7, requiring a specific photographer. Now, if you go to an agency and let's say you sent in an application, you were like genuine about it, and it seems like the agency is legitimate, and you go, oh man, this is so cool. And I have a story about this in my own experience. I was young, like late teens. I think I was 19 at the time. And I'm like, oh, I want to go check this out. I've been thinking about modeling. Let me go. I go and look up for some modeling agency in the area that I was at. I'm like, oh, okay, this seems legitimate. Great. I go in. One of the things is they wanted an upfront fee for me to join their agency. They wanted me to pay them to join their agency. Again, we covered that. I didn't know it at the time, and luckily I didn't do this, but I didn't know it at the time, but that's not legitimate. That's very scammy. Second red flag that I totally missed at the time. When you pay for the agency here, we have this photographer that you will work with to shoot your first photos to get your portfolio set up so we could start marketing you and getting you out there. That's a red flag because any photographer that's skilled will do in getting your portfolio shots, right? If you have an agency saying you have to shoot with this photographer and here's the rate, and we worked out a good deal with this photographer, we have a good relationship, or he's cutting us a good deal because he loves our agency, or blah blah blah, that's a red flag. No agency is going to have that relationship and have it be legitimate where you get charged up front, where you have to get charged to join the agency, or they say, hey, this photographer is who you have to work with. That's a big red flag. That's a no-no. Now, for an agency to say, we have a list of photographers, check them out, see what one you seem to like. Any of these, they're on our so-called approved list, right? We love their work and whatever it may be. That's very different than saying you have to go to this photographer. That's okay. You get a list of them, especially you're new, you don't know who's who. So you say, hey, who are some good photographers that I can go to for a headshot or to get the first shots for my portfolio set up, things like that. And then they go, oh, okay, yeah, here's a list of them. That's you asking them for this list. That's not them saying, oh, hey, by the way, you have to go shoot with this. Very different. That'd be a red flag. Number 8, over promising work. Anyone that can sit there and tell you, we are going to have you working so much. We're going to have you working 5 days a week doing photo shoots, all kinds of different shoots. You're going to be on the cover of this, the cover of that. They don't have the power to do that. They don't have the power to say, "Oh, we are for sure putting this person in that shoot." The agency is one part of a chain of events that has to happen in order for a model to get booked on a job. And they don't have the say with all these clients to say, "You're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do that." Now, if they're believing in you and they say, "We think you have a wonderful look, your personality, your skill set, your abilities, we can't wait to work with you," that's encouragement. That's a good thing. When they're doing this and they're excited to work with you, that's great. When they tell you, "We're going to get you so much work, it's going to be busy, busy, busy." They can't promise that. They don't know. They don't know what you audition like. They don't know what your skill set is. Maybe you freak out in front of a camera when anybody else is around and they don't know it yet and you don't know it yet and whatever. There's an infinite possibilities of things of how things could go right or go wrong or somewhere in between. They cannot promise you work. That is a big, big red flag as well. Now, number 9, requesting nude or suggestive photos. Oh, I laugh at this because I need to give this caveat to this red flag. The very first audition that I went to was for one of the top 3 brands in the world for a shoot, and it was at their headquarters. And this is a very legitimate brand. And the shoot, as I go and do the audition, there's a gym full of people, but where they're doing kind of the auditioning is this, they just set up like a makeshift kind of room divider curtains, right? To where photographer and the client or who or the casting, whoever is back there, they have their own little part of the gym that's kind of closed off by just curtains. So you can still hear everything, whatever. Gym full of models waiting to go audition. And I go step behind the curtain to audition, and this was for a sports company. And they're like, "Okay, cool, are you comfortable getting into like just shorts," which is common for sports fitness stuff. Like, yeah, yeah. So take off the tank top, now I'm just in shorts, do a couple photos, put me in a few poses and everything. And this was my very first audition, right? The photographer, super cool dude. I still to this day, I just have so much love for this guy. He does the whole audition and everything, and then kind of comes up. I don't know if he just kind of sensed it that I was new or just wanted to make sure. It was just being very thorough and legitimate, which is a great thing here. This was a good sign. He comes up afterwards. He's like, "Hey, man, you killed that. Are you comfortable? Like this shoot would be in the nude. Like, are you comfortable being on set in the nude?" And obviously, like your private parts are going to be covered. It's very tasteful. Think like ESPN, cover of the ESPN Body Edition magazine. That's pretty much what this shoot was like. So tasteful and all these things, but legitimate company, legitimate brand. Everything about this was legitimate. But it was my first audition, and in my head, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna make it big in this industry, I want to wait to leak the nudes. I don't want them to go out right away in my very first go. So I was like, no, 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 I'm gonna pass on this one. I thank you so much. I appreciate it, but no, that's not something that I want to do right now. And I was like, this is my very first audition. And he was like, "Oh my good dude, totally get it. Absolutely, man, right on. We can't wait to work with you at some point. This is not, yeah, this is not the shoot for you. Totally cool." That was a green flag for me when it was like, oh man, it's hard to say no when you're almost like getting the job on the spot, right? They're like, "We would book you if you're down." It's hard to say no to that. And everything about that was legitimate. Here's the difference. If I show up and they're like, or even beforehand, if they're requesting, your agency is requesting, "Hey, we want some shots of you, kind of in the nude or just in lingerie or whatever it is," unless that's your specific niche that you're going for in modeling, or you're in adult entertainment and you're trying to shoot stuff like this and working in that realm, which I don't know anything about. And that's not what this whole community is about. Unless that's your jam, nobody should be asking for nude or suggestive photos from you at all. That's just the way it is. Now, when you do digitals or when you do auditions, a lot of times they're like, "Hey, get in form-fitting clothing," right? Men in a tank top, or ladies in spaghetti straps, something that is just form-fitting so they could see your figure. Totally normal. But hey, we love the photos that you have right now, but what would really be great is if you had some kind of, I don't know, laying in your bed and laying, on top of the covers and mm, I don't know, maybe just getting some like kind of short shorts, maybe some spandex shorts or something like when they start going into stuff like this and requesting stuff like that, big red flag. Big red flag. All right, number 10. Number 10. This is the last of our list for today. There's more on this list probably to come because I can think of quite a few things as I'm going through these that should exist on here. Number 10, casting calls at a private location. Big red flag. Now, a legitimate audition or casting call, they're a go-see, as they're called. They're going to be held typically in a kind of public facility, right? Like whether it's we rented this space in this business downtown or so, it's like legitimate business, right? Even at like a hotel lobby, like a big chain hotel, a Hilton or a Marriott conference room, let's say, right? Totally legit. Those things happen. But if the go see is at the Hilton or the Marriott in room 307, 409, when you get specific in private residences and things like that, that is a red flag. You should never be going to a go see to an audition or something like this in a private residence, in a private room, let's say, because that's what a hotel room is. It's your temporary private residence. That is a big red flag. Do not go to those things. Be very thorough. And whether this is a test shoot, somebody that's like, oh, I just want to collaborate with you. Oh, meet me over here. Be very thorough in how you do this. And then if you vet it out and it seems like it's legit, and you're like, okay, this is cool, make sure that you go, hey, I either tell them that you're going to bring somebody with you and say, hey, is it cool if I bring so and so? I want to bring my friend, Big Bubba, big body, big muscle Bubba, UFC fighter. Then if they're like, yeah, dude, totally cool, that's a good sign, right? Like that red flag is now kind of a yellow. You still want to be cautious, but that's legit. They're not trying to get you alone, and they're welcoming, someone else to make you feel more comfortable. Totally cool. Totally cool. That's much better, much better. But if they're like, no, we don't have room, or we don't want that many people on set. Well, we don't want to distract from you we really want to capture the real you without distraction. Any sort of reason they give to not have somebody else accompany you to the shoot, if you are feeling uncomfortable, and even if you say, hey, look, I'd feel more comfortable, so it's okay. If they try to talk you out of it, big red flag, get out of there. That's it, baby. That's 10 red flags in the modeling industry to look out for. I cannot stress it enough that it's so much easier to avoid a situation that's sketchy than it is to get out of a situation that is sketchy. Maybe on another video, I can share story or have a friend or two share stories of incidences where they felt genuinely like their life was on the line. And luckily, everything ended okay with them, but literally had to sneak out and sprint and run as fast as they could to get away from a situation that very strongly felt like human trafficking. I can't urge this enough. Awareness, situational awareness from physical world when you actually are in person with people to the digital world when you're receiving these emails, messages, DMs, and things like that. You have to be alert to red flags and understand how better to approach them and dig a little bit deeper and set yourself up in a more secure way to take care of yourself. So be on the lookout for those 10 red flags in the modeling industry. Make sure you take care of yourself, take care of your friends, your loved ones, your strangers, the other folks in the community, so that we do not have any horror stories to keep on passing on generation to generation of models. That's it for now. I will see you on set.